Bienvenidos a el Chuco Sportscast con tus anfitriones MarkTep25 y RedMT25. ¿Qué pasó, mi gente? Es MarkTep25 otra vez. Bienvenidos a otro episodio del Chuco Sportscast, episodio 28. Yo soy el MarkTep25 y este es el RedMT25. Mario, ¿qué pasó?
Not much, bro. Just here chilling, man. Tranquilo.
Tranquilito. Qué
Gracias
bueno,
a
dude.
Dios, bro.
Yeah, so we're back. We just did another episode on Tuesday for UTEP Tuesdays. We didn't do anything on Spotify Greenroom only because we were kind of just trying to get something back into the swing of things. But hopefully we can incorporate Spotify Greenroom into this. We're kind of trying to give this a last chance because last time I did an episode, it went really freaking well, but then something happened with their systems and my recording got lost. So yeah, que lástima. It was kind of just an unfortunate situation. But hopefully this doesn't happen again and I can get this so I can make the recording. But anyhow, let's get started with today's stuff right here. Okay. For those of you that are watching on YouTube on the screen, you'll see what's on the screen. For those of you that are listening on Spotify Greenroom, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, any of those things, we're just going to kind of get started. So, Spanish word of the day, palabra del día, afilado, which means sharp. Por ejemplo, la criatura tenía unas grandes garras y unos dientes afilados, which means the creature had large claws and sharp teeth. So yeah, just in general sharp. Because un otro ejemplo, el cuchillo estaba muy afilado y pude cortar los tomates sin esfuerzo. The knife was very sharp and I was able to effortlessly cut the tomatoes. So just in general, afilado is just sharp. So just your little Spanish lesson for today. Next, we go on to the Wnba Standings. At the current moment, the WNBA is in the WNBA Finals. So it's going to be between the Phoenix Mercury and the Chicago Sky. So Diana Taurasi versus Candace Parker. As far as our Dallas Wings, they kind of lost to the Chicago Sky in the first round in not a very good fashion. I mean, they had a pretty good season overall, but yeah, it just wasn't enough to defeat the Chicago Sky because obviously look at them. They're already in the WNBA finals. So it's not shameful to really lose to a team like this. Candace Parker is an amazing player. So it's just in general, yeah, it was a good season for them and hopefully they come back stronger next year. I think Collier, the rookie, I guess got one of the rookie spots as far as recognition and the awards. So she's done really well this year and hopefully she continues to improve her game and, we move on further. As far as in general, sorry, sometimes I have to do this to get the cursor to move down. So now we just kind of see where things are going right now with the Chicago Sky and the Phoenix Mercury. The first finals game is tomorrow at 2 p.m. And it's going to be an interesting matchup. Like I said, you have Diana Taurasi, who's been there quite a few times, and Candace Parker, who has a championship under her belt as well. And she's actually pretty much in her hometown. Like Chicago is where she's originally from. So it's going to be an interesting storyline to see unfold. Hopefully, I'm not a huge fan of either team, but it would be kind of nice to see Candace Parker win a championship on her home turf. So that's going to be nice to see. So as far as that's concerned, good luck. Best of luck to both teams in the WNBA finals. And, we hope to see more moving forward. So now we're going to move on to the Dallas Cowboys. So at the current moment, this is their main schedule. So we got the Cowboys against the Giants tomorrow at 3:25 p.m. But as far as how they've been playing thus far, they've been on a roll. They've won the last 3 games after losing the first game to the Buccaneers. But in all honesty, everything has just been a huge improvement. At first, I wasn't expecting the Cowboys to beat the Buccaneers. However, I wasn't expecting the Cowboys to play as well as they did against them either. They actually played quite well. I mean, the only issue that happened in that game was pretty much Zerline missing field goals. If that didn't happen, the Cowboys probably would have won the game and they probably would have been 4-0 this year. But, things happen. It is what it is. We just got to see how they play against the Giants today. I mean, they struggled a little bit in week 2 against the Chargers. But, let's be honest, the Chargers have actually surpassed expectations this year. And they're actually gearing up to be a pretty good team. The Eagles, I mean, they're kind of in a downturn. I mean, Jalen Hurts played well, but, the Cowboys were just a little too much that week. And the Cowboys against one of the best defenses in the league and the Panthers actually, did really well. So the Cowboys overall have just been having a very good season, and we hope that kind of moves forward. As far as just where they kind of stand overall, as far as the statistics, as far as passing attempts, overall they have 133 attempts and 100 completions. So their overall completion rate is 75.2, which is not like superb, but it's not horrible either. I mean, it puts them at like second place, and again, this is still early in the season, so it's pretty good overall. I mean, they're above the Chiefs and the Seahawks right now, so that's saying a lot. As far as yards per attempt, let's see, they're kind of in the lower tier, aren't they? Yeah, so they have 8 yards per attempt, so it's kind of middle of the pack as far as that is concerned. Passing yards overall, they have, again, they're kind of middle of the pack, I think, with 1,066. Yeah, 1,066 total passing yards overall. So, again, middle of the pack. Overall touchdowns, let's see. They have 10 touchdowns on passing and receiving with 2 interceptions. Not horrible, but it could, stand to improve. Their overall rating is 116.9, which puts them at least in third place overall as far as rating and passing. Now let's kind of look at the rushing game. We got to put focus on Ezekiel Elliott, who I think is top 5 in rushing this season. But overall rushing, we got, let's see, as far as rushing attempts, the Cowboys have 124 rushing attempts to their overall 663 rushing yards, which puts them kind of puts them in second place, which is wow. They're the Browns this year have been really just moving the ball on the run game. So that's kind of impressive.
Oh, man.
But yeah, the Cowboys, I mean, of course, Ezekiel Elliott is probably one of the best running backs in the league, and he proves it time and time again. A lot of people were talking a lot of shit on him in the first week against the Buccaneers, but you got to understand the Buccaneers are probably one of the highest rated rushing defenses in the league. So obviously he wasn't going to get much in that game, but for what it was worth, he still did quite well. As far as touchdowns for rushing, 5 rushing touchdowns puts them kind of almost mid-tier as far as rushing touchdowns. Because again, first couple of weeks they didn't really do it as much, but I think Zeke is getting back into the groove again, and we'll expect to see a little bit more rushing touchdowns as time goes on. As far as the overall yardage, I mean, the amount of rushes with 20 plus yards is 4, one with 40. So their longest one was 47 as far as rushing yardage. Oh, I don't think I mentioned that about the passing. Let's just kind of look at that real quick. Let's see. So let's see, the Cowboys, my bad. So the Cowboys pretty much had... Oh, no, I think I did say that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Okay, my bad. Oh, no, but as far as, the amount of yardage. So the amount of plays that they had with 20-plus yards is 12, and two long bombs of 40-plus, with the highest one being 48 yards. So, again, with Dak Prescott, he's only improving, and hopefully he gets a little bit more deeper range as time goes on. So that's going to be something he works on, and it's going to be a good season for him. He's already started off pretty well. He didn't have as many passing yards this week, but hey, I mean, he got quite a few touchdowns, so it's all well and good. Of course, with receiving and passing, they kind of go hand in hand. So a lot of this is pretty much the same thing. So then let's kind of look at the defense real quick. As far as the overall defense, passing defense, the amount of attempts they allow is actually, let's see. Yeah, they actually allow a pretty high amount of passing attempts. So, and they allow pretty high amount of completions. Yeah, which puts them at probably one of the worst in the league as far as completions against them. So that's something they need to work on, especially in the secondary. However, last week they did pretty well. I think Diggs is his name. He had it.
Yeah, Trevon Diggs.
Yeah,
he's had 1 or 2 interceptions a game in all 5 games, and you know what? That is something that they need to make sure that they need to keep him in, and then make sure that he's healthy and good to go, because not a lot of I forget what position he is. He's a defensive back or linebacker. I can't remember, or safety. I think he's safety.
Yeah, he's safety.
But what was one thing that our stepdad always tell us? Like, as that person in that position, you got to read what the quarterback's about to do. The more you do that, the more you key on where the quarterback's going to go. That's where you can capitalize on interceptions and getting turnovers and trying to get defensive touchdowns. So that's what I would hope that all the other safeties or defensive backs on that team follow his example, because that's the kind of secondary that we've needed for quite some time, because I would get fed up with Dallas' secondary because they would not keep our eyes on the quarterback or turn around to see where the quarterback is in order to try to pick the ball off. So this is a great thing, and I hope that Diggs is there to stay long term.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, overall, that's just been their issue. Even when they had decent teams, like the defensive coordinators just, I don't know what it is. The Cowboys never seem to know how to play like their guy. They always give the player way too much space, and then that's when they just come in to tackle. And sometimes they would get burned. So that's just, I don't know why they would do that. I mean, they still have a lot to work on overall. And as far as like the amount of yardage that they get, I can't speak today, that they allow, 1,261 yards. Again, that's still something they have to work on with 9 touchdowns that they allowed. But overall, they've had 8 interceptions. So that is a huge improvement from last year, where they didn't even have any. So that puts them at least first in interceptions. So that's a huge, huge improvement over last year. So that's exciting. So then as far as the rushing yards, let's see how their defense rushing is. I know that the Buccaneers are probably one of the best rushing defenses. So the amount of attempts they allow, they allowed the least amount of rushing yards with 69. Attempts was 69, and rushing yards. Let's see, they actually, because that's the most amount of rushing yards allowed. The Seahawks have been down bad this year, so they're probably one of the best. I think they're top 6 right now. Again, with the Buccaneers allowing only 190 rushing yards, but the Cowboys allowed only 324, which is, again, nothing to shake at. It's definitely a huge improvement from last year, where they probably allowed way more than that. As far as touchdowns, they've allowed 2 rushing touchdowns, which is impressive. I thought they would have allowed more than that by now, but they haven't. So they've been keeping it down packed as far as the rushing defense is concerned. So that's great to see. As far as receiving, because again, passing and receiving go hand in hand, so a lot of that is going to be pretty much the same thing. They just need to improve on making certain that they don't let the receiver get behind them, and just kind of, again, as you said, kind of monitor where the quarterback is heading, kind of, read the play so they can get ahead of the pass. And as far as tackles, or actually the scoring, so as far as overall, let's see. So as far as touchdowns, I mean, the only teams that have scored off of turnovers has been the Eagles and the Colts. Safeties, there's only been 1 safety, and that's been by the Raiders. Interception and touchdowns. Oh, actually, I'm incorrect. But what is FR touchdowns? I don't know what that means. Then I'm kind of stupid. Maybe it's fumble run.
Maybe should be fumble run. Yeah.
There's a legend at the bottom of the screen. It should tell you.
Let me see, because
usually would
No.
Usually they tell you at the bottom of the screen what those abbreviations mean, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna assume that's
maybe it is a fumble run. I think you're pretty close. Fumble run, because I saw a couple of those this season already where they fumble the ball and they're able to pick it up and run in for the touchdown. So I think you're right. You could be right.
So then once again, we have some, as far as interception, so pick sixes. The Buccaneers are the first in the league with 2 at this point. The Cowboys do have 1. So again, that's already an improvement over last year, where they pretty much had probably absolutely nothing in that category. So now, we're seeing some improvements, and they made some pretty good moves in the offseason as far as the defensive line is concerned, and just the defensive players in general. So I guess kudos to the front office this time around. Hopefully this maintains. As far as overall tackles, let's see. Sacks, let's see. So that's the least amount of sacks. The current amount of teams with the most sacks. So the Titans with 17 sacks. They're a hell of a team this year. As far as where the Cowboys lie, they're pretty low in the standings as far as that's concerned, with seven sacks. Hopefully that improves, they can get a little bit more rushing on the quarterback. I think they might have a few this week against the Giants. The Giants haven't been too good overall. Combination tackles. Let's see. Sorry, is this? Okay, there we go. So as far as combination tackles, like 296 tackles, like just total combined tackles. My bad, I'm so stupid. So combined tackles, so that's at least seventh. And assists, they have 117 assists, which puts them third overall. So they're at least, their help defense is there. They're at least making certain that they help one another instead of just letting their man just get by them. Solo tackles. Let's see. The Cowboys are probably top 10 with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so they're top 10 with 172 solo tackles, which is not bad. Overall, though, the Titans seem to be one of the higher, like the Titans and the Buccaneers seem to be one of the higher rated defenses this year. So those are teams that I'm a little nervous about if we ever face them. I know we just lost to the Buccaneers earlier this year, but hey, they actually gave them a game. And then let's see, is this total overall fumbles and interceptions? Let's see. So as far as,
I think it means forced. FF means forced fumble.
Forced fumble. Yeah. They don't have very many.
Forced FR, forced recovery or forced
fumble recovery.
Fumble recovery.
Forced and fumble recovery.
That's right.
Yeah, the Cowboys are kind of middle of the pack on that one as far as forced fumbles. I think they have like 2 or 3. And then the overall fumble recoveries, we can see from here that the Cowboys haven't been too great as far as recovering the fumble, but hey, it's not too bad. As far as fumble run touchdowns, again, I don't think they've had any this season. I think it's only been the Eagles and the Colts that have done that. Receiving fumbles, so if the receiver fumbles the ball, I don't know what's going on this time. Okay, yeah, so as far as receiving fumbles, I mean, yeah, we haven't really seen very many, except, the Cowboys have had one fumble that has been on the receiving end that they've caused. As far as rushing fumbles, that's the lowest end. So let's see, as far as rushing fumbles. So they have one apiece, a rushing fumble and a receiving fumble. Again, still kind of middle to lower pack, but it's not bad. And then again, interceptions overall. The Cowboys have 8 interceptions. Like I said, they lead the league in interceptions at the current moment with 1 pick 6. Total interception yards was 148 yards. And the longest that they've gotten was 66 yards, which is pretty damn impressive. And then, as far as the overall interception yards, they're second to the New Orleans Saints. So I mean, as far as their overall offense and defense, they've been decent. Their defense is still kind of middle of the pack, kind of not where it needs to be, but hopefully soon things can turn around for them, and they can only go up from here. So I'm very happy with the overall improvement from last season. I mean, it was horrible last season. Nobody could have predicted what was going to happen that time. I mean, especially with Dak back, a lot of our team and players healthy. And this is the thing, like last year, a lot of people were crying to have McCarthy, fired and all this crap. And it's like, dude, he's only been there a year and he's a Super Bowl winning coach. Give the fucker a chance. We gave Jason Garrett, who had no business being a fucking head coach, all this goddamn time. Like, why the fuck can't we give an actual winning head coach more of a chance? Like, I just don't understand Cowboys fans in that regard sometimes, but I digress. So as far as the overall special teams, as far as field goals, and this is the one that might be a little bit frustrating because we all know what happened in week 1 with Zerline. He's been okay since then. So as far as field goals made,
he seems to be improving. It's just as a kicker in the NFL, you should not be missing easy shots like that. I mean, I know a couple were long, but a couple extra points and a 30-yard field goals, like you should make those no problem. But
I don't know. He was shaking off the rust.
Oh, shaking up the rust.
Yeah, because he had been recovering from surgery, so that's why he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
For
That I
last
didn't.
season.
That I didn't know. I forget who he played with before. But I was like, man, that's like.
But
Like yeah,
go
because
ahead.
he played for the Rams and then he got traded to the Cowboys, or I can't remember if he was traded or if he got picked up. Either way, he got injured, I think, in the beginning of last season, so he had to recover a full year, and now he's back. I mean, and yeah, the first game, I guess we can give him some bit of leeway, but even then, some of the ones he missed were like weird because they were so close. But then he made a freaking long ass one, so I'm just like, I don't know how much leeway we can give on that one. But yeah, as far as overall attempts, um, the Cowboys have had 8 attempts overall. So the percentage in general for the Cowboys in field goal attempts is 75%. Not horrid considering how they started, but like it's not where they need to be. So hopefully that improves from there. As far as again, so these were the attempts made from like very close. Come on, sometimes this thing doesn't want to click. Hello. Sorry, sometimes the thing is a little screwy. I'm not even pressing it that hard. So okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. If you're looking on YouTube, sorry, I'm still kind of getting used to this thing. So overall, yeah. So we see as far as attempts, yeah, there we go. No, first of all, I'm just gonna scroll down. So I mean, we don't have as many people like with that on the 19-yarders. But how about let's just look at the Cowboys. So from, I guess, 20 yards and above, they're 1 for 1. As far as I think that's 30 and above. Yeah, 30 and above, they're 4 and 3. I guess that was one of the ones they missed. And then 1 and 1 for 40 and above, and then one of the ones they missed was from the higher range of, 50 yards plus. I think the longest one they did was 56, and I think that was the one Zerline missed. So as far as field goal blocks, so the Eagles, Texans, and Panthers are the only teams that have a field goal block this far this season. So that's yeah, those are very rare. So I really don't put those in high regard. I mean, if it happens, that's pretty fucking amazing, but I don't expect that to happen. As far as overall scoring, field goals, extra points. So again, we've already seen that they made 6 field goals, 75% field goal percentage. Extra points made. Let's see, the Cowboys have gained 12 points on extra points, and their percentages, there's 85%, which is not bad as far as extra points. Man, I bet you the freaking Ravens. Yeah, dude, the freaking Ravens. That shit made me laugh because, oh my God, that 1 week that they kept trying to go for the extra point, like the extra 2 points, and they missed twice. Oh man, that shit made me laugh. Because I was playing fantasy, and I'm going to probably get to that maybe a little later. I was playing fantasy, and my guy had the Ravens the Ravens kicker, and they kept going for the 2-point conversion instead of the field goal. So I won based off of that. So that shit was funny, man. Fantasy is one of those things, man, that it's really fun, but sometimes it can be really fucking nerve wracking if your team doesn't perform the way it needs to. So let's see, kickoff returns overall. Let's see. Kickoff returns. So, as far as what I could tell, the average return. That's weird. Oh, so I guess the Ravens have not had kickoff returns. That's odd. Cowboys 21.3 average. Retention. I think that's retention. I don't know. See, this is the area I'm not as fluent in. But from what I could tell, as far as the overall yards from special teams, 85 yards on returns. As far as their longest was 24. So they've had 3 with 20 plus yards on kickoff returning, punting. So the net average of yards punting, that's the lowest is the Bills. The highest right now is the Jaguars. That's interesting, with the Cowboys with 44.8, so they're 4th. in the league. Net yards. So they're 538, 12 punts. They've averaged 48.6. So as far as long, the longest yardage for punting is 63, with total 583 yards. That is what I'm understanding, right? Because this is just overall punting. As far as the rest of these yardage, I'm not entirely certain because punt returns, I don't think we've seen a true punt return touchdown overall. So the average, okay, I think this might be better for me to understand. So average yardage and punt return is 6.8 for the Cowboys, 27 yards. And their longest they've had was 13 yards, so they haven't had anything over plus 20 and plus 40. I mean, what is fumble? What's FC? I don't know. Understand what that FC means. But they haven't had. Yeah, they haven't had any fumbles though, so that's good. They've been pretty good on not miffing the punt.
Yeah, we don't want that. I've seen a few of those on other teams. Like, oh, geez, gotta have a lot of concentration. Make sure you catch, especially if you call a fair catch.
Yeah, I think that's what that means, fair catch. So they've had a few fair catches here and there.
Oh,
yeah. See, sometimes we have to come around to it, guys. We're still we're rusty.
Well, yeah, I mean, but for anyone, we're not, even for people that try to follow us or looking to follow us, we're not going to know all the lingo. So we learn as we go. So
yeah, and see, here's the thing: like, we're not statisticians, so we don't really know the overall jargon. And we're not analysts or statisticians, so we don't really follow it that closely in that regard. But hey, I mean, I'm trying to make that effort. I'm trying to make the jump into that so I could get a little bit more ingrained, a little bit more knowledgeable about the game, not just on the field, but also the off the field stuff and just everything in conjunction. So that's just something we're kind of looking at. But as far as the Cowboys versus the Giants, let's kind of see. So the Giants right now are 1-3. They do have a win. I forgot who it was.
Against the Saints, bro.
Oh yeah, the Saints. Yeah, the Saints kind of screwed up at the end there.
God.
Saquon Barkley was kicking their ass. So that's one guy I'm a little bit nervous about as far as the rushing defense. I mean, I think they'll hold, but I mean, you can only stop a player like Saquon Barkley only so much. So that's the thing. I think overall for the Cowboys, what they have to do going into going against the Giants is that they have to kind of go at it from, hey, how do we stop Barkley? Because of course the QB is not a bad QB, but he's still young. So you kind of have to play it more so on like stopping their main source of attack, which is the run, the rushing part of their team. So I think as long as they keep Saquon Barkley at least in check, I think the Cowboys are going to be okay. And then the offense can just do what it needs to do to win. But yeah, as long as the Cowboys kind of stop Saquon Barkley, I think it'll be fine. So, I mean, as far as the overall like situation with the Cowboys, like I said earlier, like I'm very happy of what has occurred. Like there hasn't been anything, that has derailed them that badly. They've kind of come back from certain things. Like they've combated injury from last season to right now. They're pretty healthy thus far, and God forbid, I'm gonna knock on wood that anything happens. So I'm happy for the success that the Cowboys have garnered this far, and I hope nothing for the best, especially for Coach Mike McCarthy. And there's been a few players that have actually been let go, like Jalen Smith. I think he was let go.
Yeah, he was let go, and it was because they saw all the potential on defense with the new guys like Micah Parsons coming in, and Randy Gregory showing some good time on the field. Finally, that guy was always something going on with him to where he couldn't play, and I'm glad to see him finally playing, and he's delivering. Some of the newer linebackers are really showing it, and it's just unfortunate. I respect Jalen Smith so much. He, overcoming that injury he had before he came into NFL was a huge. It's just unfortunate that with the newer guys that came in, and then you'll be getting DeMarcus Lawrence coming back, and hopefully Lionel Collins, getting everything straight. He was just as Skip Bayless put it, the odd man out as far as his speed and quickness and ability to get to the quarterback. And it's sad because I really liked him. He really worked his ass off. Unfortunately, with the people they had, they didn't see to keep him because I think there was a stipulation in his contract. If he were to have gotten hurt, he would have been guaranteed like $9 million.
So they were trying to cut cost on the books. I see.
Yeah, because in the market cap,
they would have probably hit the market cap, and they didn't want to do that. So in a way, it was a business move. I'm sure it was, and it feels bad. But luckily from Jalen, he doesn't hold any ill feelings towards the organization, and I'm glad for that. And I wish him all the best. But it's just kind of fucked up in a way because after the game
against Carolina,
Mike McCarthy makes him, I think he appoints him captain of the linebackers or something like that after the game because all this, and then Monday Jerry calls him in and says, "Hey man, we're cutting you." I'm like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah, that's fucking cold, dude. Jerry Jones is a fucking asshole.
But the thing is, that just tells me something. As much as I want Mike McCarthy to succeed, he clearly doesn't. He's clearly not in the loop when it comes to stuff like that. Because if he had known about what Jerry was going to do, he wouldn't have named him captain. But since he did, I'm sure he didn't. So I just don't think Jerry's keeping in the loop of some things that I feel the coach should be aware of. And that's why I still have question marks about McCarthy, because I just don't think there's a lot of things that I think he's doing. He's not calling the shots on. But like I said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this season because they're doing well. I want to see how they do. A lot of people are saying Kellen Moore is really the one that's calling the offense. And I don't know. But based on how the offense has been performing, they're doing well. So, I mean, as long as they make the right moves, whoever's calling the calls, it doesn't really bother me. But, like I said, we don't really know what's going behind the scenes. But like I said, getting back on track, I hope Jalen Smith does well. And I think yesterday I read on ESPN, the Packers picked him up. So I knew he wasn't going to be a free agent for long. They were able to get him. Packers got him, and I think the Packers could use someone like him because I think they need it, in all honesty. So I'm happy for him that he at least found himself another team. So I see great potential in this defense. It's, because for the longest time, you and I know, even before we were born, Dallas was known for its, that people want to see that doomsday style defense like we did in the 70s. And it's like I see a defense similar to that in the making. As long as they stay healthy, stay out of trouble, I think that defense is going to be a line to be reckoned with. And then with a secondary too, getting a guy like oh my God, now I'm like Diggs. Sorry, Trevon Diggs. I don't know why his name evaded me for a second. Those guys in the secondary, all the defensive backs, all the safeties, gotta take notes. This guy is amazing. This is the kind of secondary you want. So I pray to the Lord that they need to turn around. I mean, I feel that compared to past, I just don't even think Rod Marinelli would have had someone like him or would have pushed for that. Because, I mean, he did it slightly, but even then they struggled to, get guys that are in coverage to turn around and try to get the ball, or safeties to be reading the quarterback. And this year it's been so much better. So that's why I forget who the defensive coordinator is, but he's making some changes that needed to be done. So I hope all the defensive backs and safeties take note of what Diggs is doing, because that's what they need to do. So I see great potential in this defense as long as they keep pushing forward. For the offense, they're doing their job. And I'm happy to see, the O-line is protecting Dak, giving him time to make the decisions he needs to quickly. I just think Dak, hopefully he gets better at quick decision making. If there was anything that the Tampa Bay game taught him, it's you need to kind of take a little bit from Brady, because he's mastered trying to get those quick passes, quick decisions, millisecond throws out. So I think he's only going to, like you say, he can only go up from here, and I'm glad he bounced back from his injury. Now, with the rushing core, I was really happy to see Elliott finally making those big runs that we were missing for the last couple of years. Now, notice he's not as quick as he once was when he came in 2016. He's kind of lost a little edge. However, he's still as explosive, and he will run you over. But that's what I like about Tony Pollard. He's a great complementary running back to Zeke, because Pollard's got that he's got that maneuverability that Zeke does not have. Yeah, the lateral quickness. And he's fast. He has the speed that Zeke had when he first started. So I think McCarthy and Kellen Moore need to play off these two running backs well. Got to be able to change up the place to where you want to power through certain lines, you use Zeke. You want him to move around to try to get around certain blockades, you use Pollard. I think they complement each other, and I hope that they keep them both healthy to where they can, because the running game has, from 9 times out of 10 throughout Dallas's history, has been their bread and butter. So they need to make sure that they do not lose that like they did last year. As far as the receiving core, you can't get any better. As far as the three receivers that we have, Amari Cooper, he has improved significantly. He's gotten open looks, and he can move. So that move from Las Vegas to Dallas, I think is what he needed. It's like he came alive. It's like this is a system for him. CeeDee Lamb, great, rookie, has so much potential, and he has got some great moves that he'll get open for you. So great find. And then this new guy, was it Cedric Wilson?
He's been there a bit, but I guess he hasn't gotten as much playing time because of Hurd, right? Because didn't Hurd get hurt?
Oh, I think. Oh no, it was Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup is.
Gallup's out.
Gallup's there.
But he's gotten open and made some move, and it's like, dude, utilize these young guys while some of your other stars are out. But when Gallup comes back, you're going to have a solid receiving core, 4 receivers that you can choose from, bro. That's why, and what you mentioned about how Dak is getting better as far as his deep throwing. That's why I hope that he continues, because a lot of times people say, "Oh, he can't throw deep. He can't throw deep." Well, he's getting better. He had a few deep throws that he nailed. So that's why I hope that the receiver core can continue to improve. The way Dak, when he gets someone open, oh man, it's going to be a bomb. So I see great things happening. And then with everybody else, like I said, I just hope that they stay healthy and keep improving. So I see they've shown so far that yes, this team is capable of going, all the way through the season, and I believe finally they can break that one game win into the postseason and go farther. So that's what I pray for. As long as they stay healthy, stay focused, and yeah, dude. And then of course, special teams. Derline just got to make sure that he stays focused and not, muff those kicks, especially for extra points and field goals.
Yeah, I think Zerline has shaken off the rust now. I mean, he was a premier kicker. He was with the Rams. He was in the Super Bowl with the Rams. So he's not a bad.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It took me a minute to remember where he was because, yeah, you're right. I did see him. So that's all I can ask for is that the special teams just stay on point when it comes to that, because they've been getting more touchdown opportunities and making them than they have been settling for field goals, which I like. That's what I was about to mention earlier about the field goals. I rather they make more touchdowns than field goals, and they have been. But of course, when they need to, that's why Zerline, just got to be ready to nail it. But he has been getting better. So, and another thing that people would bring up is oh, these guys got an easy schedule. These guys are playing, a lot of teams that are not all that good. Well, would you rather them lose to these teams, or would you rather them, beat them and improve? I mean, I doesn't say it doesn't matter who your opponent is, good or bad. You still got to go out there and get business done and win.
You got to win. Yeah, you can't just because otherwise It's because I don't know. Cowboys haters like to say a lot of shit about the Cowboys. Oh, they have an easy. And they say that about a lot of teams. Oh, they have an easier schedule. They have an easier. Okay, so if they lose to one of these teams, are you saying that it's not as easy of a schedule, or are you saying they're shit? Because at that point, that's a catch-22. Like they can't fucking win in that instance. Like, so that's just the stupidity of that argument. So overall, I don't know. And here's just my thing about Kellen Moore. I mean, Kellen Moore, he's done okay. I'll give him some credit where it's due, but I just still think it's not really on him, because I think, again, Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning head coach, so he has experience. So in all honesty, I'm putting it more so in the ball in McCarthy's court than I am in Kellen Moore's until I see otherwise. But here's my other deal. I saw an article which kind of pissed me off. They were saying that, oh, McCarthy has an explosive offense, but Jason Garrett laid the groundwork. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
That's highly debatable.
Dude, Jason Garrett would not have utilized this team the way that Mike McCarthy's utilizing it right now. Don't give me that bullshit. Like, there's a hell of a lot more of improvement on the offense comparatively from Mike McCarthy coming here for this season. And even then, because even the later part of this season last year, the Cowboys were actually winning some games, like even with their roster that was depleted. So I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I don't think Mike McCarthy is a horrible coach. Yeah, he may have gotten a little bit complacent, or maybe just his time was up in Green Bay, but he's not a horrible coach. He's won a Super Bowl, like, period, bar none. Like, you're not going to compare Jason Garrett, who hasn't won jack shit, to Mike McCarthy, who's won a Super Bowl and has kept them pretty much in the hunt towards, like, you know, the conference championship for years. So no, I'm not going to sit here and say that Jason Garrett laid the groundwork for anything. No.
No, and I'm not saying you are, but I mean, it has been over 10 years since McCarthy has won a title, and then since then, his time in Green Bay, he couldn't get back. So I don't know if there was issues on his part or what, or he just couldn't get the pieces together. But you know, like I said, he's with us now. I would hope that he finds a way to make this team succeed and go all the way. But you know, we all know Jerry Jones's, you know, mindset. He doesn't want people to question him or oppose his decision makings when some of his decision making has been highly suspect, and more times than not, he always gets yes men. And there's only maybe 2 or 3 coaches that have played under Jones that have stood up to him, and it's like, no, man. It's like, you know how Jones gets in the way of the coaching. It's like he's the one really coaching and not. It's like he was the one really coaching and not Garrett. And that's, some people still feel the same way with McCarthy, because he doesn't seem all that like he would stand up and say, hey, get out of my way and let me coach the team that you hired me for. But we'll see. Like I said, it's only been a year. I would just pray to the Lord Almighty that Jones takes a step back and let them do their thing.
But
I mean, again,
that's next to.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
again,
next to impossible for him.
Yeah, I don't know, but again, we've seen with Steven Jones that, like, I mean, Jerry has kind of given a little bit more power towards Steven, but I'm sorry, dude. When you keep shit in the family like that, I don't see much of it being a change, dude.
Well, there has been decision making that Steven Jones has done that has, like, brought his dad back down to earth, like, hey, wait a minute, you know, look at this. So what happens in the future when Jerry Jones finally gives up the reins of owner, whether if he willingly gives it up or he dies? Whether the question will be, if Steven Jones' son takes over, will he finally be rid of that ego his dad had, or will he do the same thing as his dad? That's going to be the big question. So we'll see.
That answer probably won't be, prevalent until like maybe 20 years later or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Jerry Jones is pretty old, dude, but I mean, he's a rich motherfucker. He can get pretty damn good health care. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, him and his family, I'm sure, has great healthcare with the amount of money they make. Especially,
being the
so
richest
it
fucking franchise in the world, dude, like, come on.
what was Forbes's? What did Forbes say? It was like what, 2 point something billion dollars? Yeah.
Yeah, something
I mean,
outrageous.
yeah, you took it. You took it
From when you first bought it to being the most richest franchise organization in the world. Yeah, that's all well and good. But it's been 25 years since you won a Super Bowl title.
Es
So,
porque la gente es pendeja por naturaleza, güey. It's because they're the fucking assholes, like, by nature. People will buy anything. It doesn't matter win or lose, because again, and it's not a bad thing to support your team, but when you see that for too long the team has just stagnated, it's like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why the fuck do we go to all these goddamn games just for you all to keep losing like this? I mean, this year, again, it's still early, but we're seeing a lot of improvements. So again, and I've said this to you in the past, like off camera and all this shit. Here's the thing, in mi opinion, what they need to do is really stay the course. But again, I am not really satisfied until they get to the NFC Championship. If they don't get even there, I'm sorry, I'm not going to label that as success. Because yes, they are doing better, but I'm not going to claim it as a successful season until McCarthy and this squad outdoes what they've done the past 15 to 20 years. If they can get to the NFC Championship, I can at least claim that, hey, that is a huge success. And if they don't get to the Super Bowl, but at least have made the NFC Championship, I'll say, you know what? It's a huge step in the right direction, and we should be proud, and we should capitalize off of that momentum. Pero ahorita, we don't know. That's why I'm holding my tongue. That's why, and I've never talked shit. Because again, we've said in the past in this podcast, it's this fans, dude. They're fucking crazy because they don't understand that they don't have to defend their team every fucking time, even if they're shit. You know what I mean? If the team is shit, the team is shit. They're doing really good this year, but we cannot be so fucking delusional like we've been in the past. Like, oh, they're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl this year. No mames. Cállate. Wait until they get to the NFC Championship first, pendejo. Like, seriously.
right now, well, that's every team's goal to go to the Super Bowl. That's every team's goal every year. You know, just because we say it the most doesn't make us special. It's like, that's why we got to watch what we say. But I mean, you know, I'm not saying to, you know, to shit on your team. Always support your team, but be real when they're screwing up. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. We keep it real. If they're playing like shit, they're playing like shit. If they're playing good, they're playing good. And right now they're playing good. But again, my thought process is we can't let this get to our heads. Remember, we haven't had much success in the playoffs for a while now because we've had, even under Jason Garrett, we've had seasons where we were like 11 or 10 and something, and then we lose in the first round or the divisional round, and we get pummeled because we were like, they thought too highly of themselves. So again, we cannot fall for the same fucking trap until they prove throughout the season that they're legit. If they're beating, like, I mean, I know they lost to the Buccaneers, but if they beat, a ver, like, who was on their schedule? Let me see if I can get back to the screen. Who was on their schedule? So we have, you know, they have the New York Giants. So the next teams on their schedule, so they have the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots gave the Buccaneers a run for their money, so that's a challenge, I think. The Chiefs, if the Cowboys can beat the Chiefs, then I will have a little bit more faith. But they got to beat the Chiefs. That's my deal. If they can beat the Chiefs, I'll have a little bit more faith that the Cowboys can go a little bit farther than they've had in the past. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, that'll be
that'll be a damn good game to watch because we know the history between the Cowboys and the Chiefs, man. That's always been awesome. Those always had awesome games. So yeah, they gotta put their money where their mouth is against. Now that's a team that's a very strong team to go up against. So that's one team they got to be ready to see. You got the Vikings. They're so. Broncos. Yeah, they're doing a little better. Falcons. They're struggling, but look what happened last year. Can't have that happen again. And then when you get to so, I would say, the Pats. You gotta see Giants, Pats, Vikings, Broncos, Falcons. You gotta win those games, beyond doubt. Pats will probably give you a little bit more of a hard time, especially what we saw last week with Tampa Bay. Vikings, they've been shaky, but you still should be able to overcome them. Broncos, been a little bit better. Got to be careful with them still. Falcons, they've been struggling, but still,
I think that's a walk in the park for the Falcons. But the Cowboys, again, I think they win these games, even if they win by a small margin. I think the Cowboys pull these games out. It's the Chiefs I'm worried about. If they could beat the Chiefs by even the smallest of margins, then that's at least a step forward. And that I can be like, you know what? I think we got a shot. But again, I still will not sit here and just be like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl until we're actually in the fucking Super Bowl. You know what I mean? There's estos pendejos, güey. Y si me equivoco, güey, me equivoco. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right, of course. I mean, I know people want to shoot for that. That's the goal. It's just, I just feel the more we say it, the more we jinx ourselves. That's why I try to refrain from saying anything like that until we get there. It's like, right? I've been telling them, it's like, we got to go one game at a time, man. We can do all the shit talking, the next day, the day after. But as soon as that day after is gone, it's back to work. You got to focus. We start from zero again because that's how you start from zero every new game. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I have faith that we'll see something we haven't seen ever since you and I were kids. So hopefully it's a step in the right direction, especially into the future. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, man. Like I'm going to be glad that I'm seeing these games. It's just one of those things I think, again, we have to take a step at a time. But ahorita I digress. It's the Cowboys are on a roll, and that's what matters right now. So we're doing good. And again, I think the Cowboys have a chance, but again, they cannot get too cocky. So, I mean, as far as the Cowboys season goes, they're kind of middle of the pack in defense, really good in offense, and they can only go up from here, and they have to maintain this momentum. But overall, the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about is the preseason for the NBA, because lo and behold, it's back again. We're coming back around. So now I think with this, the NBA season should be back to its original time frame, to where we can get back to normal, some sense of normality with all this. But right now, what has happened is they've played a couple of preseason games. Luka's played really well. And then we kind of look at the offseason moves that were made. As far as, again, I think in one of the previous podcasts, we saw that, Josh Richardson wasn't there. He got let go. They picked up Carlick Jones, Farron Hunt, Sterling Brown, Moses Brown, and also he didn't play this night. Oh yeah, no, he did. Frank Ntilikina from the Knicks. So we got a lot of players that were former Knicks. It almost feels like the Mavericks are becoming the Knicks. So I mean, and also I think, what's his name? Oh, he played with the Knicks last season too. I don't know why I'm blanking out on his name. Either way, we picked him up. And it just seems that we made a lot of, in my opinion, they were not horrible moves, but they weren't great enough moves. They were more lateral. It doesn't really move the needle in any sort of way. You know what I mean? I just don't think the Mavericks did enough in free agency because, again, we were trying to go after, Goran Dragic. like we were trying to pull off a trade because I mean the Heat and the Raptors made a trade for Dragic and Kyle Lowry. Yeah, Kyle Lowry, and then the Mavericks were trying to pursue Goran Dragic because Goran Dragic and Luka Doncic are from the same country, so they're trying to get them like the two Slovenian guards to play together. But Toronto right now is playing hardball, and really the only way we can really consider even getting him is if the Toronto Raptors actually trade with us, which is not likely because we do not have the assets to really garner any sort of trade to get him unless we bring another team involved in it, which I don't think we're willing to do. And then also there could be the chance that the Raptors could waive him before the trade deadline, and maybe we can pick him up then. But at this point, it's safe to assume that they probably are not going to get Goran Dragic until next free agency, which is exhausting because, again, I feel like another year has been kind of wasted. I mean, it could have been worse, but it definitely wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be. So as far as like this current game, we see the Clippers and the Mavericks played again. So again, the Clippers right now are without Kawhi Leonard for a good majority of the year because of his injury. And yeah, again, since it is still preseason, so we're just kind of taking this with a grain of salt. So as far as the Mavericks, Kristaps Porzingis played 19 minutes with 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Again, not a lot of minutes to really show up much, but hey, it's not a bad showing considering. Dorian Finney-Smith, 15 minutes with 2 points, 4 rebounds. I think he was playing a little bit more defense overall. Dwight Powell did not have a bad game with 16 minutes and 14 points and 5 rebounds. Luka Doncic, 18 minutes, pretty much almost a near triple double because that's just how Luka rolls. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Josh Green, he did very good like on the boards. But from what I've been told and what I've heard from other like Mavericks fans, and like guys like Ruben Tomas, like Reddit Mavericks, like we've seen him, we've chilled with him. He's said that he's kind of looked lost out there at times. So I don't know. Hopefully that changes. But otherwise, that's not a good sign. Eugene Omoruyi, I apologize if I have totally butchered. Omoruyi. With 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not bad showing for a young player. Frank Ntilikina, see, and this is the thing, like I really don't hold Frank Ntilikina so highly considering the way he played in New York. I mean, he played better than Dennis Smith Jr., so that says at least something. But even then, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, if he's just more so there just to play some defense, fine. Just so long as he plays his role to a good, like in a good way that doesn't conflict with like Luka's playing, and also he's not just a black hole on offense either. I mean, I've heard there were some good things to his game, even though the stats may not have shown it. But again, I have to really see a few games of Frank Ntilikina in a Mavericks jersey before I really can say if he was a plus or a negative. Trey Burke, he was pretty decent this game. He had 5 assists and 9 points. Carlik Jones, a lot of people are really high on Carlik Jones right now. With 15 minutes, he had 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And we have some of the younger ones like Ja'Cory McLaughlin, Ferron Hunt, didn't do too bad. Sterling Brown did not have the best showing, but I've heard Sterling Brown is not too bad. Blake Cauley-Stein, I've heard he's been struggling a bit, so I don't know. Moses Brown, let's see. With Moses Brown, I've heard a lot of people really high on Moses Brown, that they should probably have him start over a lot of the other bigs. And because he's a little bit more athletic and a little bit more like quick, which and he has a little bit more height overall. So I think that would be a huge upgrade as far as a center. And he's young. So if we can utilize his youth and his strengths and improve upon his weaknesses, I mean, that's pretty obvious. But you get what I mean. He would be a better piece overall as far as a defensive anchor if we can make it so. And Boban, he's really he does all right. We love Boban, but of course he's never gonna get the amount of minutes that you would like him to get. So it is what it is. I mean, Boban is a really good piece off the bench. He puts in his work and he does what he needs to do. But overall, the Mavericks have been doing okay preseason wise. Let's just hope everything kind of translates into the season. I mean, as far as on the other side when they played, I didn't realize Justice Winslow went to the Clippers. I'm a little slow on the draw on that one. Harry Giles is also there. So I mean, they didn't play too. They played okay. I mean, Paul George, I mean, didn't really play all that much. I mean, didn't put up very much stats wise because again, it is preseason. Eric Bledsoe didn't have a very good game. Reggie Jackson got some pretty good minutes. Luke Kennard, Brennan Boston, the rookie, Isaiah Hartenstein, Amir Coffey. So those guys got some minutes in there. Yeah, I mean, overall, this Clippers squad it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them because again, they're without Kawhi Leonard. So you don't exactly know what is going to happen moving forward if they maintain. They might be like middle of the pack this season until Kawhi gets back. So I don't know. And maybe they even falter even further than that, but we'll see what happens. But the Mavericks, I think they're going to end up being in the same tier unless they make some move that just blindsides everybody. So let's see. As far as the players on the roster, Reggie Bullock. That's the fucking person I was trying to remember who was there. Reggie Bullock is the guy that was with the Knicks. And then right now, Tyrell Terry has taken a step back from the team because, again, some more familial issues. And, you know, my heart goes out to him, and I hope he sorts out whatever issues he's having because it's just kind of been one of those things where he's just, you know, he's not there. He hasn't been there. So, again, I hope him the best. And, I mean, he may have to be something that just gets, like, traded in waivers or something. But then you have, you know, Maxi Kleber's still there. Like, I can't speak today. Whew. Jalen Brunson and Maxi Kleber, of course. They're going to be good pieces to have overall, especially coming off the bench unit. Like, I think we're going to be okay. But I just feel like there's a lot of soul searching they need to do within this team. And again, it all depends on how Kristaps performs. I mean, he's not horrible right now, but what I would like to see from his game is a little bit more aggression, like getting down into the paint a lot more, which we haven't seen from him. Maybe it was just the way Rick utilized him. I don't know what it is. Granted, there's issues to both sides, and we're not going to rehash the whole Rick Carlisle thing because that's old news and we need to move on from that. Jason Kidd is the coach now. I don't know. It is what it is. Speaking of Jason Kidd, oh man, people were on Twitter, man. It's because he wore this shirt that just looked so tacky and just like he looked like he was going to a bowling alley. Let's see, Jason Kidd shirt collar. Yeah, because everybody was messing around with this shirt collar. Hold on, images. The shirt collar meme.
Really?
Yeah, because look, you see how this fucking shirt looks?
It looks like we're going old school, man, like back in time to
like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, with the, you know, kind of like the big old collar for, like, you know, I don't know if that was the cowboy thing, you know, put a cowboy hat and some boots on him, I guess it would fit, but yeah, big collar is a bit much. If it was a little bit smaller, like your standard size collar, I mean, I could get that, but that is a bit much, man.
Dude, people have been fucking dicks about his collar. I was like,
the character
the new guy made.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Oh, they posted his picture in, like, you know, Fast and the Furious because, you know, he's bald and he kind of resembles like Vin Diesel. So it's like family, you know, that shit. Like,
oh
my god, dude, this meme has been fucking gold. Oh yeah, this Corked Bats. This is the guy who started this. he fucking like for every likes this gets or 25 likes this gets, Jason's collar gets bigger, and they've pretty much made it to where it's like expanded
Oh my
ridiculously, man.
gosh.
Like look, it gets bigger, look like that, and then este cabrón,
That's great.
it's freaking destroying the American Airlines Center. The pinches copter's way.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god,
That's
yeah.
funny, man.
Yeah, dude. The fucking Twitter is. I mean, there's some shit on Twitter, but there is some comedy gold on Twitter, dude. Like, God, thank you, Court Bads. Muchísimas gracias, güey. That shit is. Ay, no mames. That shit's fucking great.
That's great. Oh man.
Yeah, but overall, man, it's been a pretty interesting like season. Again, I think kind of the overall disdain or dislike for Jason Kidd's hiring has kind of died down a little bit. Again, in due time, we'll see if this move pays off in any way. Again, I am of the opinion that this move does not move the needle in any way. I still feel that we're going to be at least a 5th or 6th seed, at maximum a 4th if Luka pushes himself to the limit. But I just don't foresee the Mavericks making it out of the first round unless they go against some team that just been having like bad struggles. Otherwise, I really don't see Luka getting out of the playoffs, like this Mavericks team getting out of the playoffs. And again, it all stems from if Kristaps Porzingis like adds a new facet to his game. Like he's a decent shooter, don't get me wrong, but he needs to stop trying to take shots over like shorter dudes. He needs to back them motherfuckers down. You know, this shit has got to stop where and if he's gonna have a fadeaway game, he has to really, really dig deep and practice that shit. If that's really gonna be the case. Otherwise he really has to bang down low in the paint. I mean, again, I'm not too worried about him shooting from out of the 3, but they need to have more than just him like running up to the 3 and spotting up shooting. And I'm certain that Luka and KP will work things out. Because I mean, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Luka and KP were at odds, yada yada," and I don't know, dude. I never thought that was the case. Again, I think the problem stemmed from coaching. And again, I'm not saying that Jason Kidd is going to be any Jason Coach with his fucking giant ass collar.
Coach
collar.
Coach Collar. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. No, I mean,
I really do think that Porzingis, you know, he knows. I'm sure he knows that if he doesn't, you know, do his best to stay healthy, stay strong, that he could be finished if he gets hurt again. So I pray that he does stay healthy, stays strong. But yes, I do agree. He needs, as a big guy, you can't just rely on the shot. You got to drive it in. You're a big ass dude. You got to be able to muscle your way into the paint and get the easy 2. Because the easy 2 points, like you've always said, have always gone a longer way than shooting the 3 because, you know, it's a hit or miss.
And that's not to say he's a bad shooter. Like he's a very good shooter for a big guy. It's just he has to have more facets to his game. Like Dirk, like again, I'm not gonna sit here and compare him to Dirk because they're never gonna be the same player. But at least provide some sort of dimension that helps you, like get around defenses and creates a secondary weapon for Luka. Because again, we still do not have that secondary ball handler yet. At least for what we can tell right now. Maybe Brunson makes a jump and becomes that, and maybe he doesn't. But either way, KP, if he's going to be the second option on this team, he has to step up. Because otherwise, this Mavericks team is not going to get any better. And like I said, and if Kristaps can do that, I foresee them at least at maximum going 4th seed. Maximum.
Right.
Because again, the rest of the team is still needing to be worked out. I mean, Tim Hardaway, you know, bless him. He's been an amazing part of this team, but again, he is still very, very inconsistent. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited again. I'm always going to be excited for my teams. But overall, I think I'm pretty sound in my logic and my reasoning. There's going to be a lot of Mavericks fans that disagree with me. I'm always never on the right end of Maverick Twitter's opinions, but it is what it is. Like, I don't know. Last season, I'll admit I was wrong about them not making the playoffs. Because at first I was like, dude, they are struggling way too badly. I have a feeling they're not gonna make the playoffs the way they're playing. But Luka turned it all the way back around. The team bought in, and they came back. So I was wrong on that. And again, I hope I'm wrong and that they make even the 3rd seed. So I don't know. I have a feeling like Luka, he has the potential to become MVP, bar none. But again, he has to at least make the top 3 in the league in order for that to be an honest reality.
Well, I believe he will. Coming in, seeing how explosive he's been and the talent he's got, I think he'll be in the running for MVP for sure. And like I said, I just hope the organization's able to work it out, give. And what you were saying about Jason Kidd, man, we'll always have love and respect for him, especially what he did in the league, what he was able to accomplish. But we got to give him a chance as far as being
you
a
might
coach
have to repeat
now.
that because I think
I know he coached in Milwaukee.
You might have to repeat some of that, dude, because I think you kind of got a little cut off there. So hold on a second. Something got a little cut off at that moment. Can you hear me?
That's weird. You there?
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what happened. The internet kind of got cut off a little bit weird. So could you repeat your point one more time? So sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying, we'll always have love and respect for Jason Kidd as a player because we watched him, we grew up watching him and saw what he was able to accomplish. But now as a coach, we got to give him a shot. I know he coached Milwaukee. It didn't work out all that well, but it wasn't all bad. So let's give him a chance and see what happens. Like I said, we had some good success with Carlisle, but I guess it just got to the point where it's like, we're stagnant.
And not
it wasn't going anywhere. Yeah.
So let's give him a shot. And then the other pieces, the other guy, was it the new GM that they brought in?
They brought in Finley was it the basketball operation or Nico Harrison? Let's hopefully he's able to make some moves. I'm not going to try to shit on Donnie. I mean, he did some great moves for this organization while he was here, but I just guess, with a lot of things that happened, I guess it was his time to go. So I wish him the best as well. But let's give this guy a shot too. I guess we could say it's a whole new era for the Mavs as far as, coaching staff, front office, because we have a change of the guard there. So
it is a whole new era. And again, I'm not. We'll see what happens. I think as long as this guy does what he needs to do, and we try to go after the right pieces that give Luka a chance to not burn himself out, then I think he should be fine. So I think it's going to be a decent season, an interesting season, mind you. But I think the Mavericks are going to be, they're going to make the playoffs. I have faith that they're going to make the playoffs. But again, for Luka, because again, he's been in a lot of MVP talks. If that's going to be the case, Luka, his team has to help him to get to at least a 3rd seed. Because Luka he's going to do what he's going to do. Like, he put up astounding numbers last season and didn't win MVP. But it's not just the statistics; it's also the winning. The stats have to complement the standings in order for you to get MVP. Although that's not always fair, it is what it is. So that's just what has to happen there.
No,
but anyhow, I mean, I think that's really all we had to talk about for today as far as, our current sports situations. One thing I would just like to say before we sign off, like I'm currently doing NFL, like fantasy draft and all that shit. It's going interestingly strange because
It's
I'll,
interesting, but it's strange at the same time.
yeah, because I'll put it this way, like I have a decent team, but I just feel like once in a while they won't perform 100%, or I get a player that's injured, and this happens to me every year. It's not that my team is horrible, even though the standings might say that. Like, I mean, in one of my leagues, I'm doing really well. In my other league, I lost 3 in a row because of one minor thing. If they had Zeke scored a touchdown the week before, like one more touchdown, I would have won. If I had played Dak this week in fantasy, I would have won. It's just one fucking thing. If one of those fucking things would have gone right, I would have been like one of the top 5 in my other league as well. Like, I have good parts. I have good pieces. It's just making them work as you go by. And hopefully, because what I want to do is try and do a fantasy basketball league as well. So, si quieres hacerlo, like, llámame, like, let me know, like, call me, or y'all can message me on Twitter. Sígueme on Twitter. Just let me know, because I'm totally down to do that as well. For that though, I won't play for money. I'm already doing that with one league, and I don't want to spread myself too thin monetarily, because tengo vilas. I have bills. So yeah, that's what I kind of want to say. I mean, right now, I think I'm down by a good margin in one league and up by a margin in another. It's weird because in one league I win, and then in another league I lose. So I'm just trying to find a week, just trying to get it to where both teams can win for both my leagues this time around. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. But I'm excited for the games tomorrow. I'm excited for the NBA season. Best of luck to the women that are going to be playing in the WNBA finals. Again, best of luck. Congrats to Candace Parker and Diana Taurasi and all the other players on the Chicago Sky and the Phoenix Mercury. So, best of luck. ¿Quieres decir algo, güey?
No, man. It was a good talk today. I'm looking forward to what will happen after tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. But no, I think we're all good. We appreciate you guys that tune into us. Like I said, we're still trying to build an audience here, and hopefully this succeeds more. But yeah, please follow us on social media. Facebook, Twitter. Reach out to both of us. Check out all the other stuff we're doing, and just give us a like, subscribe, and please leave comments for what you would like to hear or like to see from us to create better content. So yeah.
Okay. And then also, like, we recorded on Spotify Greenroom again to double check if this is going to work. If it fails me again, I might have to just record on Anchor from now on. But I mean, we'll see. Overall, we didn't have anybody come to speak with us today, but hopefully when we get back on, we can get more people to come talk to us. Either that, or I'll probably see if we can get some more people to be guests on the podcast. But we'll see how it goes. Anyhow, y una última cosa que tantas veces me olvidó decir. The things I've forgotten to say every time. And Anchor, if you would please, because again, I have taken less hours of my other job. If it is possible for you all to go to my Anchor page for El Chuco Sportscast, and leave a donation. You can leave as little as $1, solamente $1, at the bare minimum, and that would help this channel and the podcast greatly, because it would just help us grow in general. So, ándale pues, mi gente. Suscríbete a mi canal y hasta la próxima, mi gente. Adiós. Paz.
Adiós. Paz.
Y también sigue a MarkTip25 en Spotify Greenroom, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram y TikTok.